I've been deeply inspired by the teachings of Sayadaw Tejaniya, a Burmese monk in Myanmar. And I've been practicing with students of his who are Dharma teachers for a few years now. And slowly exploring how to offer these teachings. And so it's completely imperfect. I'm not offering teachings that I've been practicing for 20 years. I could do that, but that's not what I'm doing because that's not what I'm practicing. So I'm going to share what I'm practicing. And so it can be a little clunky because it's really subtle, right? Many of you have heard a teaching from the Buddha. So the story goes, the Buddha got full awakening and then was walking around and he was like this radiant being and someone approached him. Oh, you look like a radiant being. He said, yes, I'm awakened one. And they're like, yeah, whatever, dude. And they just kept going. He's like, okay, that is not the way. And he came upon a deva, and I might have got the order of things off here, but he came upon a deva, or a deva came to him and he said, please, or she said, please, they said, please teach, share the Dhamma that you have touched, that you have discerned, that you have recognized. There are some with little dust in their eyes. And the Buddha was like, it's too subtle. No one's going to get it. And I feel like these teachings from Sayadaw Tejaniya, the way his teacher, Shui Umin, put them forth, and it turns out that Shui Umin was a student of Sayadaw U Pandita, and U Pandita had other students. And there's different approaches, and that's great. Thank goodness there are so many approaches. That's one of the many gifts of the Dharma Collective. There's so many different teachers sharing the Dharma and their experience of it. Because y'all are all different, like we're all different. Different moments, different things are helpful. And this is what I'm into these days. The practice of the Satipatthana Sutta, the four foundations of mindfulness, can be engaged in with a light touch 24/7. 24/7. Gentle cultivation of awareness, presence, mindfulness, however you want to translate sati. Maybe we're noticing the body. Whatever we're noticing is sufficient. This is a practice where we're not specifically trying to notice a particular thing. We're noticing what we notice, becoming interested in that, curious about that, receptive to the present moment unfolding. Perhaps it's an external experience, like a sound, or physical sensations, maybe our fingers interlacing or touching, or on our face, or it's our seat, or our feet. You know, if I invite you to notice your hand, perhaps you're already aware of your hand. Did it take any effort? It's so cool, and it can be just that little. And it's a light touch every so often. Every so often. For years, I practiced coming back to the breath, coming back to the breath, coming back to the breath. And although my attitude changed over time and I no longer felt like I was doing something wrong, that I needed to return to the breath, and I wasn't like crazy glued to the breath, there was still this subtle, you're doing something wrong. You have to come back to the breath. Even though there was no longer an emotional charge around it, there was still this idea of there's a right thing to be doing. Oh, you're not doing it, clearly. And I already have so much childhood conditioning that I'm doing something wrong. That was not forward leading for me. I'm sure it was very helpful, and I don't regret any of the time that I spent studying under Thich Nhat Hanh or his students or Ajahn Chah's students. Like, so glad for all of that time. And I think that they were both pointing to something, both of those people, and then all their students who became teachers and monastics, that I was missing, which is that it doesn't matter what you're aware of. The breath, the body, is a skillful starting place for many people. But it is not the practice. It's a doorway in, it's a way. And as Carol Wilson says, and I love, mindfulness doesn't care what it is mindful of. And the Buddha laid forth these 4 foundations or 4 establishments of mindfulness: sati, patthana, sutta. Sutta, simply teaching or discourse, and patthana can be translated as foundation or establishment, and then sati, mindfulness, awareness, presence, however you want to translate sati. So it's the practice, bhavana, cultivation of presence through the various activities of life, the various activities of a day. And the 4 foundations as they're laid forth are the body, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body are all the body. We see something if we have a working eye and we have working neurological things that are necessary for seeing, and there's enough light and there's an object for the light to illuminate, seeing happens. We can be aware of that, or we can just see without being aware of it. But it's happening in the body thanks to some external experience. The same is true with each of the sense doors: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and then physical sensations of the body. The 6 sense doors of mind, we'll hold that for just a moment. And then the second foundation of mindfulness is feeling tone, Vedana, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. And so we can begin to notice if an experience, an external, kind of stuff I just named, or internal, more in the thoughts and emotions place. Although there are physical internal experiences as well, of course. Whether that internal or external experience is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. We can notice this. We can get interested in that. And as we get interested in that, as we become attuned to that and notice that, we're not so tipped over by the pleasant and unpleasant experiences. We're not so influenced by the neutral experiences so that we tune out or we miss it. Another way we can think of delusion is believing something, having an attitude or a view, some belief that we're fixed on, because that's delusion, because ain't nothing like that. It's all changing all the time. It's all changing all the time. Like, oh, we see this belief that's here. I don't know the details of the thing Jorge is sharing about his sister, but I'll just go with that for a second. Like, you said you were going to do this thing, are you not doing this thing? And then we can spin this story. I'm not suggesting you were doing this, but we can spin this story of like, you never show up for me, I don't matter, you don't care, that's super irresponsible, why'd you say yes and now you say no, you always say yes and then you say no, like whatever might arise in the mind, it can just be known. And either the story can be known, and now we're into the 3rd foundation of mindfulness, chitta, heart, mind. The story can be known, and the emotional charge can be known. The disappointment, the grief, the recognition, oh yeah, this is unpleasant. And the natural state of this heart, mind, body is to push away the unpleasant. And sometimes we might try to do that by spewing it at other people, right? It's the heart, mind, body doing the best that it can in the moment, given the conditions that have arisen. But it's just the conditions unfolding. You're not choosing to spew the stuff. You're not choosing to, or I don't know what happened for Jorge. I just know myself. Like, I'm not choosing to get upset about my sister for something she did or didn't do. It's happening due to conditions. And for me, and I know for all of you too, a lot of those conditions are ancient. They're ancient. Early childhood experiences, pre-verbal experiences, in utero experiences, experiences that whatever human carried our uterus, our fetus, excuse me, carried our fetus in the uterus, like experiences they were having, it's all conditioned. And you look at evolution for a minute, oh, right, I'm gonna have a fight, flight, freeze response or fawn, right? That's how our evolutionary ancestors survived. It's conditioned, okay? And the knowing of that, for me these days, and I hope for you over time, brings so much freedom. It's just not personal. It's a shared experience of being alive. Even that little ant, she wants to survive. She's going to go toward the pleasant and away from the unpleasant. It's built into us as living beings. And then we have this special ability that we can cognize and we can know what we're recognizing. So what we're practicing is the Satipatthana Sutta. I gave you 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is all phenomena, all Dhamma, all dharmas with a lowercase d, all the arising and passing of all conditioned experience. And there's a list of some of them, which I'm not going to go into right now. And it's an all-encompassing thing. This is a conditioned arising, the thought, the emotion, the traffic, an illness, surgery, this political climate, racism, sexism, homophobia, transism, ableism. They're all conditioned arisings. And one of the magics of that is that we can condition the next moment. We have that agency when we're aware, when we're present. We're always conditioning the next moment. And we can attune to that. We can be aware of that. Okay. So hopefully that was clear-ish. We'll keep exploring. And let's play with it. Let's engage in this way of practice that Sayadaw Tejaniya has been putting forward. So checking in with your body once again. Noticing any ways it might want to move. Big stretches, little stretches. Discerning, listening, and then acting from that wisdom that is revealed. Tending to yourself. As we learn to listen, the heart, mind, body shares more with us. It's conditioned. We also can begin to hear more. We can recognize the whispers, the little niggle, and tend to it, whether it's a niggle in the heart or a niggle in the knee. It's like, oh, you have a need, thank you. Caring for ourselves earlier in the process before there's an explosion. There's a little tiny win. Maybe it will lighten your hearts as we come in. So I also was at the rally at Civic Center on Saturday, and I packed a lunch for myself and a snack because I know that I need that. And I was with a group of people and I got out my snack and I shared it because that is my training and conditioning, share the snack. And another half an hour passed, I'm like, I need to eat. And so I just sat down and ate. And I didn't try to offer my lunch to everybody. I ate my lunch. And that is a radical act of self-care for me, to be able to stay in community and tend to myself. For someone else, that might be really simple, and we all have our own challenges. But to be able to prioritize tending to myself rather than tending to you is huge. And I noticed that need to eat soon enough. So I didn't get hangry, I didn't get rude, and I didn't get emotional. I just ate my lunch. I feel very proud of myself. So you might have some moment like that that my short sharing elicits. Some way that you engaged in a contrary behavior. Some way that you tended to yourself, although there may have been a pull or historical habit to do something else. Wisdom does the work. We don't have to do it. It's my experience, in fact, that I cannot do it. What I can do is practice the cultivation of awareness, kindness, gentleness, love, tenderness, care. I can practice those things. And as I cultivate awareness, kind attention, loving attention, however you might want to modify the word awareness or mindfulness to infuse it with love, to infuse it with metta. As I practice that and tend to that and cultivate that, wisdom shows up. Wisdom discerns, wisdom recognizes, wisdom guides this heart, mind, body more and more. As I keep tending, a little flame inside, this hot ember, this glowing ember, let's call it a glowing ember. It needs enough oxygen, enough space. But then it just glows on its own, a little tending to once in a while. The practice comes to have its own momentum. And we might begin with some personal effort, as I've offered before, like a little push on the skateboard or the swing, or a pedal on the bicycle. You have to coast, glide as well. Not trying to pedal all the time, right? That's not how it works. The momentum, it sustains itself in time and requires some personal effort in the beginning or occasionally. And so what does that personal effort look like? It can look like stopping and resting like we're doing now, really resting. Allowing the body to be as it is and inviting it to relax. Creating an environment in which we feel safe enough to put our guard down. Where this heart, mind, and body can actually rest. Any posture works for this. Lying down, standing, seated. It can even be done in motion, resting, applying as much effort as is necessary to have the posture that you're in, and nothing more. Letting it go. And of course, as we stop and rest, there's a swirl because we've been going, of course, no problem. We can notice this, be interested in the experience of the swirl. Oh, this is what swirl feels like, or maybe it's a different word for you, whatever is actually happening for you in the moment. Noticing this, being interested in this, curious. Maybe you're noticing your response, your reaction, your relationship to an external experience, a sight, a sound. Great. Noticing. Like a naturalist, we're observing the unfolding of experience. And maybe it takes a little personal effort to actually rest. Great place to put a little effort, if that's useful. Allowing the body, the heart, mind to rest. And of course, sensory experience arises and passes. We're allowing, practicing allowing, cultivating our ability to allow this unfolding to arise and pass again and again in each conditioned experience, each conditioned moment. Perhaps reminding ourselves that it's simply nature, things as they've come to be in this moment. Yata Bhuta is a Pali phrase. Cultivating right view or wise view. It's just conditioned, not a problem, nothing to fix, nothing's broken. It's a natural unfolding. We witness, we observe. Whatever might be arising and passing, moment by moment. This is the practice. Very simple. Same practice on the cushion and off the cushion. Maybe dropping in the reminder, or I got you, or I'm here with you, I'm here for you, can be helpful, reminding your own self that you are in fact present to yourself with love and care. And of course, the mindfulness is not yet strong enough that it's completely consistent. And so there will be a moment in which mindfulness returns or awareness returns of its own accord, unbidden. It shows up. And we recognize this. So often we recognize it as, oh, I wasn't mindful, but exactly, you weren't. It's in the past. For in the recognition, that is mindfulness. That is awareness. Allow ourselves to feel that and to notice what heart state is present now. Perhaps there's awareness that the mind was thinking about something. We can notice the residue of that experience of thought. Getting interested in or curious about our relationship to the direct experience of the present moment. Noticing whatever it is that we notice. And noticing the state of the heart-mind. Perhaps there's a moment of contentment or a moment when awareness is recognized, a moment of peace or joy, or more than a moment. Beautiful, appreciating that. This is the state of the heart-mind, at ease. And of course, the heart-mind is not always at ease. We might notice contraction in the form of greed or aversion. Or we might notice delusion, that we're caught in some story or belief, some idea. Noticing it. That's mindfulness. Beautiful. We don't need to change it or do anything about it. We might notice that there's a natural pushing away or chasing after or spacing out. This too is nature. This is a conditioned experience. It can be known. And when it is known, we are no longer chasing or pushing away. We are knowing. And we can notice how that feels in the heart. Oh, it's like this. Hello, Ajahn Sayadaw, or my Thich Nhat Hanh shorthand. Hello. Just greeting whatever is arising, whatever we notice. It does not matter what the object is. We're cultivating a continuity of awareness. Maybe love arises, or hate. Knowing it, just knowing. being interested, cultivating interest in our own direct experience, always changing, unfolding. If a little refrain might help you, it might be rest. Allow its nature. Observe. Noticing the state of your heart. Offering ourselves love through presence. Greeting whatever might be arising. Resting, allowing, observing. Light touch. It's all welcomed. It's all just a conditioned arising. And sometimes we're not able to welcome it. What's arising is too strong for the amount of mindfulness that is available at the moment. Mindfulness can meet anything, and sometimes the mindfulness isn't quite strong enough. No problem. When that happens, it can be very skillful to bring awareness back specifically to a neutral, pleasant sensation in the body. The hands or the feet or the sensation of the body resting. It's my preferred. Starting there, and if there's a big wave of emotion and that isn't quite enough to stabilize, then it can be helpful to open the eyes and allow the eyes to land upon something neutral. If there's a window nearby or you're outside, looking at the horizon can be especially helpful if we're dysregulated. If we're inside, it can be stabilizing to look at corners. So just start finding corners and just spend a second or 3 seconds. Longer is fine. At each corner, allowing the mind to be engaged in this neutral practice if we're sighted. Three minutes of that can completely rewire the system, bring us back into equilibrium. Practice of changing the channel or changing the peg. Straight from the Buddha. when we can meet what's here, that's enough. Getting more and more interested, more and more curious about the direct experience of the moments. We come to know ourselves and our conditioned habits of mind. And through that intimate knowing, wisdom arises and habits are transformed. Habits we never could have transformed on our own. It's the Dharma at work, the Dhamma at work. Our job is this light touch, cultivating awareness, moment after moment, in a sustained way. The rest just happens. Thank you for your practice. Continuing to be aware, internally and externally.